Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to YMA Matt Chat. I am Coach Les, and I'm here with Mr. Yarwood from Yarwood's Martial Arts, and we are starting episode number 74. What's holding you back?
Right now?
The chair you're sitting in. Yes, exactly.
Gravity.
Gravity.
No, I think we kind of touched a little bit about like excuses and whatnot a couple podcasts ago, but those are things that, we talked about saying that they're lies that you tell yourself to not do something. I think there's other things that go into why you're not doing stuff. I think more nefarious excuses that you come up with that maybe you call barriers or reasons or whatever that are something that you, I think, allow to hold you back. There's life situations that happen. Obviously, there's things that are going to happen that are for real that, you're just not capabilities of doing something might not be there. But I think all in all, we look for pathways that are easier or reasons to not do something, ways to keep us from getting where we want to go. And more because maybe we're scared of getting there. We have fear that we might fail, fear we're going to fail other people. Just so many other things that can really kind of get in the way. And but I think there's a couple major ones that are like, I think, universal with everybody, whether it be in their business, in their job, in their relationships, and their training, physical training, their diet, whatever it is. There's some main ones that kind of get in the way, and I thought we might talk about those today.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because once again, this all comes down to what are the reasons,
mm-hmm.
and some are valid. If somebody doesn't have money in the moment to be able to participate,
yep,
they don't have the money, right?
Yep.
Now you have a great opportunity for that person. If they are somebody that's really seriously interested, you have a nonprofit organization that supports some families.
Mm-hmm.
So you've even come up with ways to surpass it, right? If somebody is engaged and somebody wants to make it work and they're willing to put the time in, you've created a way.
Yep.
Right. I think that, and I think this goes to any business. If you'd have asked me the second week of January, I was ready to say, I'm done with Cullen's ice cream. In fact, I said it, I'm out. Somebody should come and buy it from me. I'd reached the end of a particular series of trials, and I was like, I don't want any more of this. And then, the world moved on its axis just a little bit. And lo and behold, the tide changed, the color changed, the sun changed, the moon changed. And, possibility popped up into the picture again. And, here I am pushing hard.
Yep.
So, I look at that and that happens, I think, with everything.
You think about the situation of money, right? People, it starts with they really don't have money, right? And that's all fine and dandy, but they start turning that into excuses for not having other things, for not doing other things, right? So they allow it to become a crutch versus trying to figure out how to fix the problem, right? Oh, we don't have money for that. We're just not going to do it. Or I can't afford that. Or somebody's got more money than me. how lucky they must be, that kind of stuff, right? So they start being, oh, woe is me, and using it as an excuse versus, okay, I don't have enough money to, do what I want to do. How do I get it? Right? That whole mindset change. How do I get it? What do I need to do to make this happen versus, it'll never happen. I don't have enough money, blah, 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 right? There's two paths you can take. And oftentimes more people take the easy path of complaining and moaning about not having some money versus figuring out how to get the money that they need or put themselves in a position where that money starts to come to them. And when you have those two pathways to choose, oftentimes they choose that same path for everything, the easy way, right? The path think about, was it what was his Hawthorne, the road less traveled, right? That's the one that most people avoid because it's too hard. There's not enough. I can't see all the way at the end, so I don't want to go that way. I don't know what's down there. Versus this path that everybody goes down, you can see all the way down there. You know where it goes. So there's those two options, and it's take the harder path, and that's where success lies. That's where results lie. And you can stop making excuses about not having what you want because you go and get what you want. It's not just going to magically appear for you. Sometimes it does. If you waste your money playing the lottery and suddenly you got all this money in front of you, that's fine. But those things don't happen.
Yeah.
You just find a way.
And I think a lot of times, the way I look at it, for me, the man upstairs, in my world, God is nothing's a free handout. It requires some kind of input, and sometimes that challenge is there to push you out of your comfort zone, to push you out of your box.
Yep.
And it's part of the test. It's part of the, the reality of is something worth it. So it like you said, it might not have a monetary value to it. And part of that is, hey, I want to see if this person's really dedicated, if they're really going to, go out there on a limb and work hard before, the answer arrives. A lot of times, and then strange things happen, right? Somebody suddenly out of the blue comes up and says, you know what? I see the dedication and I know, your financial struggles. I've got it covered this month. People and miracles like that happen every single day.
Yep. But I think miracles manifest themselves in places. It's like, I think about when I played football in college, our coach always talked about being lucky, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Right? Well, luck it doesn't just happen, right? When he always used to say, we talked about turnovers on defense, right? Getting a fumble, getting an interception. Oh, they were lucky because the other team dropped the ball. Well, no. Sure, they dropped the ball, but it wasn't luck that we got it. We trained and prepared ourselves for when those opportunities arose, right? We trained ourselves to be lucky. It didn't just come out of nowhere, right? We fumble drills and interception drills and all that stuff, right? You never knew the exact way it was going to happen, but the thing would happen, the fumble would appear, and all your training sets in and you grab the ball, right? Oh, he was lucky. He was in the right place at the right time. Well, sure, but he trained himself. He prepared himself to be able to be in that position. So you plan to be lucky. It doesn't just magically appear. People think it does, but sure, there might be instances where it does, but generally you're just putting yourself in a position to be lucky, and it manifests itself. You're sending, I don't know, vibes into the universe, and they come back to you in other different ways.
Yeah, it's, you're doing a job, putting yourself into the play to be in a space for when something happens, you're there.
Yep.
Very much. And I think you in the opening line here, I think you wrote something that I'm gonna read it because I think it makes a lot of common sense, and I'll talk to it once I've read it. Most people believe the things holding them back are external: time, money, opportunity, other people. But more often, the real obstacle is internal, the story we tell ourselves about why we cannot move forward. And sometimes that same story is, I don't have enough money. And it's like, have you looked at all resources?
Mm-hmm. Have you exhausted every avenue?
Oof. My brother-in-law loaned us money to continue, making Cullen's work. And I would not, if you'd have said that to me prior to him loaning us, I would have laughed at you. Literally laughed at you.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like, you think you're in a position where nothing can happen, but you've been putting in all that work, preparing for something, and then that's when it appears.
I mean, I went to a dozen banks, and they all said, nope, 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 nope. I asked at least a dozen friends that I knew that had some money that could have lent that money to us. So, the obstacle then became, prior to that moment, was me just, I'm, who can you ask that you're not afraid to ask?
Yep. Yeah, that's the whole thing, is the setup. Is like, if you're doing the work, the groundwork for all these things, something will appear.
Yeah.
If you just sit there and wait for something to happen,
It's
99.999% of the time, it's not going to happen.
yeah.
That's the luck piece, the 0.0001. You just happen to be there, right? But if you didn't prepare for it, more than likely it's not going to happen. You might not know exactly what it is, but you're prepared for something to happen because you've been doing the groundwork, laying the groundwork to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, we talk about the comfort part too. People get comfortable where they are. They don't want to change things because, oh my gosh, if I change things, what's going to happen? And being comfortable is death, right? You lay down on the couch and watch TV, you're nice and comfortable. You have a little blankie, you got something to drink, you got some snacks, you're watching your favorite show. That's comfortable, right? But what does it get you? After a hard day, maybe. But if you didn't have a hard day and you still do that, ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna suddenly appear in your lap on your couch. It just doesn't work that way. You got to be pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone to figure things out if you really want things to get done. I mean, if you don't want anything to get done, that's fine. I mean, that's what you're doing. But if you're really looking for opportunities, they're not on your couch.
No. No. And I think too many times people think
I'm just waiting for that right thing. I'm waiting for that right moment. I'm waiting to get money. I'm waiting for. All that needs to happen is, nope, go do it. Make it happen. Manifest it. Don't just wait for it. I'll do it when. That's the biggest thing. I'll do it when. I'll be happy when. Yeah, when. That's right. When. Good question. It ain't gonna happen on its own.
Yeah. Um, and we look at this hard truth and what's holding you back. Motivation rarely comes first. Action creates motivation. The people change their lives start before they feel ready. They begin uncertain, imperfect, and sometimes afraid, but they begin anyway. I look at entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs in the face of fear, they just go,
Yep.
right? It's not that the fear is gone. The fear may still be there. You may talk to them and they go, well, yeah, I'm afraid.
But I go anyway.
But so what? Yeah. But so what? What am I just not going to go? And I hear this and I see this and I just go, no. I think that's when you're in that space to be able to continue going is where the strength lies in who
Yep.
you are and the character of who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, like they say, you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances, the perfect time, the perfect amount of money, the perfect temperature outside, the perfect time on the clock, whatever it is, right? If you're waiting for that, that ain't gonna happen. You'll be waiting forever. Nothing will ever get done. You just got to push through and go, and that's it. Make it happen. Because it's like I think that's a procrastination thing, right? They're just waiting for something to happen, like because they don't want to do the work yet. It's too hard, or they're just like, "Oh, I'll get to it later." Yeah, well, all of your dreams and desires will be later too, because it ain't gonna happen. You gotta just make little iterations along the way to move you towards your goal, right? If you're going for one big giant step all at once, you're going to miss your spot. But if you make a little change here, move forward, a little change there, move forward. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Back up a little bit, move forward this way. Those little tiny movements move you where you need to go. But if you don't ever start, you're never going to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that I know, and I was trying to look and find there's in one of the leadership books, it's a problem with having read too many of them. Trying to remember where it belongs and which one it comes from. But one of the things that leaders, some of these prolific writers, the only way you lose is if you don't take the first step.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. You're guaranteed to lose if you don't show up at the game.
And people laugh. It's like, well, somebody goes and they buy one Powerball ticket, right? And somebody gives they give, I can't believe you just bought one ticket. And I've gotten to the point now where I turn to the person and say, that's all it takes. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen with one.
Yep.
It's not going to happen if I buy 100.
Yep. They all have the same odds.
Unless I put some serious number of zeros after that one.
If you buy them all, you'll win.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
combination. But then you have enough money that you don't need to play the lottery anyway.
Yeah. And I look and somebody goes, well, why don't you buy 1,000? I said, because it doesn't increase my odds by 1,000.
Nope.
It's such a fractional amount. But what's up with $1? Well, because I have just as much chance of winning, I may as well give it. I was looking today. I went to the. I gave my wife one of these big scratch offs. That's got like 400 things to scratch off. And of course, you can't figure out if it's a winner or not. I mean, it's almost. I'm like, I'm not spending that much time learning that thing. And so I go to go to the lottery thing. You got to sign up. They got to check your age. You got to go through all this stuff. And I punch it in and I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't tell me. It says that there's an error in the numbers. I'm like, well, I put the numbers you told me to put in. It's not working. Well, okay. So if it's a winner, we'll find out at the end of the year because we buy tickets throughout the course of the year. And we just hold on to them, put them in the drawer. If we don't know off the top of our head right away, we just put them in there. And I look at that and people are like, you mean you don't want to find out right away? It's like, no, it's I buy one Powerball ticket here and there every blue moon, right? And at the end of the year, it's something fun that she and I do together. We go to the Holiday gas station and we stand over there and we scan them. And usually we end up with about as much money, in playbacks as
you spent.
as we spent, right? Which is a win, right? And sometimes we just take the last couple of years, we've just taken the cash. But I look at that and I can then say it gives me, if I spend $1, it gives me the right to say something funky about the Powerball or to say something or make a comment because people say, well, do you buy a ticket? Yeah, I bought one. Well, what's that going to do? I say, as good as anything.
How many does it take to win? One.
And I was looking at the site and there's a bunch of people that have won in Minnesota since the beginning of the year. A ton of money. So who's to say that can't be you?
Mm-hmm.
So, I look at that. To me, it's the epitome of life. The difference is, as an entrepreneur, if I get up and go and start walking and start taking action, I'm literally creating odds and defying the odds every moment that I keep walking.
Yep. Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things wrong, but that's where you learn, and then you go and try something else, right? If you stop at the very first mistake you make, you're done first try. It's over.
Yep.
Right? You allow yourself to go, well, I tried that. It didn't work. How many times you do it? Once. Oh, okay. So you put a lot of effort into it, did you?
It's that there's two stories that I find always entertaining that make me smile and make me feel the warm and fuzzies. The story of a little boy's walking along the beach with his grandpa, and he sees a starfish, on the and picks it up and throws it back into the water. And grandpa looks at him and says, well, why'd you do that? There's thousands of them, that are up here on the shore. And the little boy looks at him and says, yeah, but for that one, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yep. Yep.
Like that one's going to live.
Yep.
And then there's the story that I always love asking people. I said, if I had a truckload of 1 million oysters, and I said, I'm going to put 1 million oysters in your backyard, one of them has a pearl in it that's worth $1 million. What would you do?
Start looking.
I get me a glove and a
Yep.
and a
Shucker.
and start shucking.
Yep.
And I said, and what about if after you open 100 and you haven't found it? What are you going to do? And the story goes, there are people that will stop at 100. They'll slow down and they'll start talking to the oyster. Come on, you're going to be the one. You this is it. This is the one right here, man. This is the one. And they'll pet it. And this is life. Like, this is what goes on out in the world.
Yeah.
And they'll pet it, and then they'll take and they'll put the shucking knife in there, and they'll crack it, and they'll peek, and I think this is it. I think I can see it. This could be it. This could be the one. Oh my gosh, this could be the one. And they get totally excited, but they haven't even opened it up yet. Then they open it up, and it's like, oh, I'm never gonna find it. I don't think it's in here.
I quit.
I quit. And I look and I go, there's 999,900 left. What are you doing?
Yep.
I'd be like, go get me a seat, get me some food and beverage.
Yep. Let's go.
Let's go. You know?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, action is what makes things happen, right?
Yeah.
Wishing and thinking and hoping and blah blah blah, that's all fine and dandy, but if you don't do anything, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's doing, creating momentum is what makes it go. You start moving, you start flowing, things start to happen for you.
Yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll wait till tomorrow. Okay. See you tomorrow. But I'll be further ahead than you are. And then the next day when you said I'll wait till tomorrow again, I'll be 2 days ahead of you. And that just multiplies.
Yeah, 100%.
That was that story. You think about, like, I think it's more like weight loss type stuff, fitness, right? I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm 30 days further than I was when I started.
Yep. And, I do get that there's something to be said for motivation, right? Small movements, you start to get motivated because you see a result, and the result inspires you and moves you forward. Totally get it.
Yep. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going.
Yep.
Because there's going to be days where it sucks. The results aren't what you want. That doesn't motivate you. But if you have the discipline to go, well, I had a bad day. Now I got to do it again tomorrow. Motivation's like, today sucked. I quit.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think that we've given some people some good. There's some good solid state fuel there to move with.
Yep.
And I think that the one thing, I think there was a question that you wrote here to ask yourself: if nothing in your life changed over the next 5 years, would you be satisfied with where you end up? Well, to me, I look at that statement and I say, you know what? You're either expanding or you're contracting. There is no such thing as sitting still in this universe.
Yep.
So you get a choice. Do you want to be shrinking or do you want to be expanding?
Yep.
I'm turning 63 this year, and I look and I go, I look at some of the nursing homes, and there are people in their late 50s that are in
Hmm.
the nursing homes, and
Yep.
they're depressed, shoulders rounded, sitting, doing nothing.
Yep.
And not because they can't fit, not because they can't, because that's what they've chosen.
Yep. My mom turned 77 this year. She works at a nursing home as a nurse. The majority of the people that she cares for are younger than her.
That's rather astonishing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, my dad and his girlfriend, up until the day he passed away, they used to go and visit nursing homes in the surrounding suburbs and go dance, do demonstration dancing, and they got paid by gift certificates.
Hmm.
So my dad, was a great way for my dad to make some, ka-ching, and
Mhm.
to spend on food and skiing and stuff. And he was 80 and she was 77. And they were tangoing in front of these people.
That's great.
And I just think about that and go, what, and people, then the next question is, well, your dad died. I said, yeah. Do I know how he died? No. Does it matter? You know what? He fell asleep in front of the TV. He had
Didn't wake up.
a scotch in his hand, a book in his lap, and he fell asleep and never woke up. Now, to me, that's a pretty happy man.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of a day, having just moved into their new home, and the coroner said, "Do you want to have an autopsy?" I'm like, "Well, who's paying for that?" Well,
Not only that, why do I need what? He's dead. What's the difference?
Oh.
Is it going to change anything? You can't go back and fix it.
He's like, you could find out. I said, what? That I may inherit it? I'm not going to inherit my mom's genes anyway in that department.
Yep.
And my mom's dad lived to be 100, and my dad's dad lived to be 90. So
Yep.
okay, my dad died a few years before that. That's all right.
We all die.
Yeah, and he was living life a heck of a lot better than my grandpa was 10 years before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa died of a broken heart. Simple. I watched him in 5 years go from walking around having a great time, telling me stories, to into a wheelchair and into a home.
Mm.
Because his heart was broken.
Yeah, you live a life like that. If you go through life always complaining, thinking about bad things, being negative, not doing anything, at some point you're just going to keel over. You weren't happy. What's the point? What was the purpose? Right? You got to live life to the fullest until you die.
And I know
because we're all going to die.
Yeah. And I know some crappy stuff happened to my grandpa, right? My aunt said, we want you to come live with us. We want you to come live with us. Sell your home, come live with us. We've got great neighbors. Da, 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 da. You can have the apartment at the downstairs, which has access right next to the garage. You can go for walks. And he lasted less than 3 months there because she got sick of having to talk to him, deal with him, see him. He was a bother. He was a pest. Right. So then my dad had to go pick him up, rescue him, bring him to our house, move him into our house. And he felt horrible.
Mm.
And his heart and spirit just went like that.
Mm.
And, to me, what held him back is my aunt. My aunt, he should never have left. he was happy. I mean, even though his wife died, he was happy living next to his neighbors.
Hmm.
One of his neighbors' wife would cook him a meal a couple times a week, right? So we knew he was getting some good food during the course
Yeah.
of the week. And he was with his friends. And he walked up 2 flights of steps, right? All on his own. Well, what if he falls? What if he falls and nobody's there? Well, then he falls and nobody's there. So, you know, I guess the moral of the story for that for me is don't let anything hold you back. Don't let other people tell you what you're going to do
Hmm.
or what you have to do.
And don't give up on yourself either.
Yeah. And don't give up on yourself. All right. Anything else, Mr. Yarwood?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well,
like we always say, take action and go do stuff.
yes.
Get off your butt.
And we'll be back here next week with episode number 75.
All right. All right.
3/4 of a century. All right. Thank you so much.
See ya.
And here we go.